Hello. It's time for us to start the next session of writing. If you remember from the previous sessions, we've been talking about planning and mostly concentrating on task achievement criterion. Today, we will start discussing coherence and cohesion, and we'll look at the anatomy of a good uh, paragraph and how this good paragraph hopefully fits into a whole essay. First of all, I'd like us to remember what coherence and cohesion means. We looked at some criteria and we saw that cohesion and coherence is pretty much how all the ideas fit together and whether they take the reader from one point to the other in a nice, connected, cohesive way. Today we'll see how we can do that on paper and what it takes to write a nice paragraph. First of all, I'd like to show you my screen. Right. So, first things first, I'd like to introduce a thing that's called a topic sentence. Now, each paragraph has to have a topic sentence that basically incorporates all the whole idea of the paragraph in itself. Apart from the topic sentence, you will have to include some development. You have to develop the topic sentence in the paragraph that you're writing. Now, first we're going to look at some relevant and irrelevant ways of developing an idea. And this takes us back a little to the task achievement criterion, because even if your ideas are well connected, but some of them are irrelevant for the topic, task achievement is not going to be very high. So let's look at a topic sentence. Keep in mind, this is not the task, right? This is the first topic sentence of a paragraph within an essay. It says, one obvious benefit of participating in a contact sport is the improvement in one's physical health and well-being. What's a contact sport, by the way? Mostly it's sports like martial arts, boxing, karate, that kind of thing, where you have to come in contact, physical contact, with an opponent or a teammate. Football, sometimes hockey, ice hockey is sometimes called contact sport. So this is a pretty rough, pretty competitive sport, you could say. So what we have here is the topic sentence, as I said. It incorporates the whole idea of our future paragraph. Now, if you want to do this task on your own, stop a video and think which of these six ideas are relevant or irrelevant for the given topic sentence. If you'd like to do it with me, let's look at them together. So the first way of developing the idea says, regularly taking part in a demanding and potentially dangerous activity leads to enhanced physical conditioning, as well as improved speed of thought and reaction time. So, would you call it a relevant development? I would, because it's got everything we need. Participating in a contact sport improves health and well-being. This is basically what the sentence says. Taking part in a demanding and potentially dangerous activity refers back to participating in a contact sport. And leads to enhanced physical conditioning and speed of thought and reaction time refers to improvement of health and well-being. Secondly, so yeah, I think it's relevant. Next, any physical exercise, however minimal, is bound to improve fitness in some way. But studies show that boxing in particular produces the fittest and sharpest athletes of any sport there is. Do you think it's relevant? It is. Why? Well, because we do not stray from the topic. Any physical exercise is bound to improve fitness, says the author. But boxing in particular, so he or she is narrowing this topic down. Boxing in particular produces the fittest and the sharpest. Sharpest, of course, refers to uh, the mind, the reaction time, for example. So, yes, it is relevant. On the other hand, it's arguable that the potential dangers involved in doing so, and injuries are inevitable after all, outweigh any benefits that may be felt or gained. What do you think? Does it refer to a contact sport? Yes, it does, because the author mentions that there are potential dangers in doing so, because contact sports are dangerous, aren't they? Injuries are inevitable. Yeah, you could say that. But does the development actually develop the topic sentence? I don't think so. In fact, it directly contradicts what the topic sentence said. The topic sentence says contact sports improve physical health and well-being. They improve physical health. But the third sentence says, well, on the other hand, it's dangerous and the disadvantages outweigh the advantages. There is no agreement, and when there is no agreement, there is no development. So this is irrelevant. And if you answered that in that way, you are right. Number 4. Despite the fact that there have been many accidents and even occasional fatalities, the vast majority of people who take part gain a high level of fitness and rarely, if ever, suffer injury. Let's look at it together. It's very interesting. Now, is it relevant? You could say that people who take part gain a high level of fitness. Gaining a high level of fitness refers to improvement of health and well-being. People who take part obviously refers to um, people who take part in this kind of activities. Uh, and they rarely suffer injury. So it does mention some of the points. However, you could say, well, doesn't this argument actually introduce a counterpoint that there have been many accidents that people suffer injury? And I say yes, but on the whole, this sentence actually reinforces the topic sentence, doesn't it? Because it starts with despite. It's clear that the author weighs the potential counterpoint against the point that he or she is trying to make, and still thinks that contact sports improve your health and not ruin it. A little later, we'll look at the main ways of developing a topic sentence, and you'll see that this is actually a very powerful technique. So this statement is relevant. Number 5. The healthier you are, the less likely you are to visit a doctor, and this can only be a good thing, as it is often difficult to get an appointment and to see a medical specialist. What do you think? Now, does it sound logical that the healthier you are, the less likely you visit a doctor? It does. Is it sometimes difficult to get an appointment? Yes, it's true. So this statement is both true and is both logical. Sorry, both true and logical. But is it relevant? Does it develop an idea that contact sports improve your fitness? No, of course it doesn't. It doesn't reinforce this idea. In fact, it doesn't even connect to it in any way. So, although it is true, although it is logical, it is irrelevant, and that's what matters. 6. Not only that, but sometimes risky nature of sports, such as rugby or ice hockey, also demand intense level of concentration that positively affect mental awareness. What do you think? Does it reinforce? Does it prove? Does it support the topic sentence? It does. Let's see why. Building on the original idea that contact sports improve your health and well-being, the author also introduces the fact that risky nature also helps your concentration and mental awareness. It's an additional idea, nevertheless supporting the original one. So it is a very much relevant sentence. So let's see what techniques were used by the relevant sentences to develop the original topic sentence, the one that's circled here. If you think about it, you can basically narrow it down to several main functions. One being an additional idea, introducing an additional idea, then providing an example, providing a reason, a result, and an opposite idea that still reinforces your own opinion. So let's start with these 5. In the next session, we're going to check which of these sentences serve which functions. But first, try to do it yourself. I'll see you in the next video.